Britain's Christmas traditions are dead. Not dying, dead. 28 million people once watched Morecambe and Wise together on Christmas night. Now, we're scattered across different devices, different rooms, different realities. The packed churches, the communal pub on Christmas Eve, the all-day dinner with 3 generations, gone. The question isn't what killed British Christmas, it's why we let it die. Because the real killer wasn't corporations or capitalism. It was us, we chose this. And it began in the Golden Age, when we had no idea what we were about to lose. Between the 1960s and early 1990s, British Christmas was ritual and remarkable togetherness. Christmas Eve started at the pub, the actual local where you'd see everyone you knew. Then midnight mass at 11, church rammed. Home around 1, slightly merry, hanging stockings with a mince pie for Father Christmas. Christmas morning meant church for many families. Presents came after. Then Christmas dinner. Mum or Nan up at 6, wrestling a massive turkey into the oven. 3 generations at one table. Everyone in paper crowns from crackers, pulling terrible jokes. At 3 precisely, the nation stopped. The Queen's speech. 20 million people doing the same thing. Boxing Day was for visiting relatives, cold turkey sandwiches, leftover trifle, kids playing with new toys. The week between Christmas and New Year, watching the same films because there was only one telly. The magic was in the details: tangerines in stockings, quality street tins, real trees, handmade paper chains, Christmas cards to everyone, nativity plays. This was British Christmas, flawed, exhausting, chaotic, but together. But what happened to Christmas Eve? The answer reveals the first crack in everything. Christmas Eve used to be about anticipation. The high street in chaos, last-minute shoppers, panic buying sprouts, everyone in the same boat. The pub was the anchor, your local heaving with familiar faces. The pub wasn't just drinking, it was where the community gathered. Then, midnight mass. Churches packed to the rafters, candles flickering even if you hadn't prayed since last December. What killed it? Between 2008 and 2018, Britain lost over 11,000 pubs. Your local became a Tesco Express or luxury flats. Church attendance collapsed. By 2022, regular attendance had dropped to around 12%. Even if you wanted midnight mass, your local church might be a private residence now. Shopping changed everything. When shops opened 24 hours, then moved online, the urgency disappeared. No more Christmas Eve panic, just order on Amazon at 11 p.m. Kids stopped believing in Father Christmas younger. Some 4-year-old at school Googled it and spoiled it for everyone. What replaced Christmas Eve? Scrolling phones, Amazon panic orders, kids on iPads, the elf on the shelf turning Father Christmas into performative parenting staged for Instagram. Christmas Eve stopped being about community and anticipation, but Christmas Eve was just the beginning. Christmas morning itself underwent a transformation that changed everything. Christmas morning used to start with church. Even families who never went would put on best clothes and head to the service. Churches decorated beautifully. Candles, nativity scenes, you'd sing carols with neighbours, feel part of something bigger, then come home for presents around noon. The wait was part of it. Delayed gratification. In the post-war period through the 1980s, Christianity was woven into the cultural fabric. Churches would be packed at Christmas. Attendance could triple compared to regular Sundays. You went to church at Christmas the way you sent cards. It was just what you did. Then secularization hit Britain. By 2021, less than half of England and Wales identified as Christian. Over 500 churches close every year. The average Church of England congregation is now over 60. Consumer culture accelerated the shift. Presents became the main event. Companies pushed earlier shopping. Kids stopped waiting. The 6 a.m. present opening frenzy became normal. No delayed gratification, just immediate consumption. The numbers tell the story. In 1977, Morecambe and Wise drew 28 million viewers. Only Fools and Horses 1996 special drew 24.3 million. Christmas Day 2023's most watched show, about 8 million. We lost the shared cultural moment. The death of Christmas morning church was tragic, but nothing compared to what happened to Christmas dinner. Christmas dinner used to be all day. Mum or Nan up before dawn, shoving a massive turkey into the oven. 6 hours of cooking. That turkey came from the local butcher, ordered weeks earlier, picked up Christmas Eve wrapped in paper. Everything was homemade, stuffing from scratch, bread sauce. Christmas pudding made in October, fed weekly with brandy, set alight at the table. 3 generations squeezed around one table. Everyone in paper crowns from crackers, reading terrible jokes, pretending to laugh. At 3 p.m, everything stopped. The Queen's speech. In 1980, it regularly drew over 20 million viewers, the last shared moment of British Christmas. What killed it? Geography, families scattered, young people moved for work, cheaper housing. The 3-generation dinner became impossible when your sister's in Edinburgh, your brother's in Bristol. Travel on Christmas Day is expensive and difficult. Then M&S and Tesco changed the game. Why cook all day when you can buy a ready meal? The Christmas dinner went from labour of love to 90-minute assembly job. Families got smaller. Divorce meant split Christmases. The Queen died. King Charles's first speech drew about 10 million viewers, half what his mother managed. Streaming killed what was left. No everyone stop moment anymore. Someone's watching Netflix in their room, someone's on their phone. The single-table, single-moment experience became fragmented across devices and rooms. Christmas dinner wasn't the only casualty. Boxing Day traditions collapsed just as spectacularly. Boxing Day used to be sacred. After Christmas Day, you'd visit relatives you hadn't seen. You'd pile into the car with Tupperware of leftover turkey and trifle. Kids would play with new toys. Adults would fall asleep in armchairs. You just existed together, sharing space and leftovers. Boxing Day sales were an event. The high street would be carnage. Crowds hunting bargains, queuing round the block. It was chaos, but communal chaos. Everyone in it, together. Football on Boxing Day was sacred too. Actual attendance, not just watching on screen. What killed it? Scattered families. When relatives lived 200 miles away, Boxing Day visits became logistical nightmares. Black Friday killed the sales. When sales moved to November and went online, there was nothing left to queue for. High streets became ghost towns. Exhaustion culture finished the job. The modern Christmas became so intense that by Boxing Day people were knackered. I need a holiday from Christmas became standard, as if Christmas itself was work rather than rest. What replaced Boxing Day visiting? The sofa, food coma, online returns, isolation dressed up as recovery time. The death of Boxing Day visiting was sad, but the end of homemade Christmas? That changed everything. Christmas was something you made, not bought. Paper chains from coloured paper stuck with flour paste. Salt dough ornaments shaped by small hands, painted bright colours, hung year after year despite looking rubbish. Handmade crackers, handwritten cards. Making stuff was part of Christmas. Mince pies made from scratch. Christmas cake made in October, fed weekly with brandy. Advent calendars had pictures, not chocolate. Wrapping presents with brown paper and string. Handmade tags from last year's cards. What killed it? Cheap Chinese manufacturing destroyed homemade decorations. Why spend hours making paper chains when you can buy 20 metres from Poundland for £2? Why make ornaments when Amazon delivers 50 baubles for a tenner? Time poverty accelerated it. Both parents working full-time meant nobody had hours for decorations or baking. Convenience became necessary. Pre-made everything became normal. But perfectionism culture delivered the killing blow. Instagram and Pinterest turned homemade into competitive sport. It wasn't enough to make simple paper chains. They had to be artfully arranged, colour coordinated, photograph ready. If you couldn't make it look like a magazine spread, why bother? The joy of making something imperfect together died under pressure of making something perfect alone. The collapse of homemade traditions was personal, but Christmas cards, that was the death of a national ritual. Christmas cards were once a national obsession. You'd send them to everyone, family, friends, neighbours, your milkman, your postman, people you'd met once. 50 cards minimum, often 100. Handwrite personal messages, sign them, address envelopes in best handwriting, post in early December. Receiving cards was half the joy. They'd arrive daily from late November. You'd display them, strings across the living room, cards pegged up like bunting. The more cards, the more loved you were. In 1990, Britain sent about 1.5 billion Christmas cards. That's roughly 25 cards per person. The postman would do 2 deliveries some days, groaning under the weight. What killed it? Facebook and WhatsApp killed the necessity. Why send a card when you're already in daily contact via social media? Postage costs skyrocketed. First-class stamps went from 19 pence in 1990 to £1.35 by 2023. Sending 100 cards went from costing £19 to £135. Environmental guilt became a factor. All that paper, all those trees. Time poverty struck. Handwriting 100 messages takes hours people didn't have. By 2023, Britain sent about 900 million cards. A 40% drop from the 1990 peak and falling fast. What replaced them? WhatsApp messages with festive emojis, Facebook posts wishing everyone Merry Christmas at once. Efficient, instant, impersonal. Christmas cards connected us across distance, but television brought us together in the moment. Until it didn't. Apocalypse. Christmas telly used to be an event. The Radio Times Christmas edition would arrive. Hundreds of pages listing every programme. Families would plan together, arguing over choices, circling programmes in pen. Christmas Day telly was appointment viewing. Morecambe and Wise in 1977 drew 28 million viewers. Over half the population watching the same show at exactly the same time. Only Fools and Horses Christmas specials were events. The 1996 special drew 24 million viewers, nearly half the country watching Del Boy and Rodney simultaneously. Films were rituals. The Great Escape every Christmas, The Sound of Music. The whole family would gather around the one telly, no phones, no distractions, watching together. What killed it? Streaming services fragmented everything. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. Suddenly everyone could watch whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted on their own device. Why watch what Dad chose when you can watch something else in your room? Multiple devices finished the job. The single television became 5 screens. The main telly, tablets, laptops, phones. Everyone in the same room, all watching different things. The 2023 Christmas Day most watched programme drew about 8 million viewers, a third of what Only Fools managed. We've lost 2/3 of the shared viewing audience in 30 years. Television fragmentation was bad, but nothing struck at community Christmas quite like what happened to carol singers and nativity plays. There used to be music at Christmas, real music, made by actual people in your community. Carol singers would knock on your door, groups of kids, church choirs, and sing for you. You'd stand in your doorway listening to Silent Night sung live and slightly out of tune, and you'd give them coins. Everyone did it. Church choirs would carol in town centres. Schools did nativity plays. Every single school, every single year. Every kid participated. Shepherds, angels, wise men. The plays were chaotic disasters of forgotten lines, tea towel headdresses falling off, kids picking their noses on stage. They were also magical. What killed it? Stranger danger murdered carol singers. By the 1990s, the message was clear. Don't talk to strangers. Don't open your door to people you don't know. Carol singing became suspicious. Nobody carries cash anymore. When carol singers do exist, what do you give them? You can't tap contactless on their collection tin. Secularization hit nativity plays. Schools started worrying about inclusivity, about children from non-Christian families. Nativity plays became winter concerts. All pageantry, none of the Jesus. Some schools dropped them entirely. What replaced carol singers and nativity plays? Silence. No knocks on the door with songs, no public carolling, recorded music only, Mariah Carey on repeat in every shop. All these individual deaths add up to something bigger. So what actually killed British Christmas? British Christmas died from 5 distinct killers working together: technology and isolation. Smartphones at dinner, streaming, fragmenting viewing, online shopping killing high streets, social media making Christmas performative, consumer culture and debt. Christmas became about stuff, not togetherness. Black Friday moved focus to November. The average family spends over £700, many going into debt. Time poverty, both parents working full time. Nobody had time for homemade anything. Convenience replaced craft, family breakdown and geography. Scattered families couldn't gather. Nuclear families replaced extended ones. Divorce meant split Christmases, secularization and cultural fragmentation, church closures, loss of Christian cultural framework, no shared cultural anchor. but we chose this. Every choice that killed Christmas, we made. We chose convenience over magic, screens over faces, easy over meaningful. Each choice seemed reasonable. But those million tiny convenient choices added up to the death of British Christmas traditions. We lost togetherness. The shared cultural moments where everyone in Britain was doing the same thing. 28 million watching Morecambe and Wise. The nation stopping for the Queen's speech. We're now 40 million people experiencing 40 million different Christmases, alone together. We lost delayed gratification, waiting for presents until after church, waiting all day while dinner cooked. Waiting made the moment sweeter. Now we get everything immediately and nothing satisfies. We lost intergenerational bonding. Nan's recipes passed down, Grandad's stories. 3 generations at one table. Kids now get wisdom from YouTube, not grandparents. We lost community. Church brought neighbours together. The pub gathered the village. Carol singers connected houses. All the structures that bound communities together collapsed. We lost the magic of less. When Christmas was smaller, simpler, homemade, it meant more. A tangerine was exotic, one special toy. Homemade decorations, wonky but made with love. Now we have more stuff and less magic. The modern reality of Christmas is bleak. Amazon deliveries until December 23rd. Kids on iPads while adults heat up M&S meals. Christmas dinner in 90 minutes from assembled components. Everyone watching different things on different devices in different rooms. Presents opened in 15 minutes, forgotten by New Year, half returned online. The average British family spends over £700 on Christmas. More than ever. We have more stuff, bigger televisions, fancier decorations, but less magic, less togetherness, less joy. The paradox: we spend more money, have more things, and enjoy it less. Thank God that's over, became the standard post-Christmas refrain. Christmas became something to survive rather than savour. Something that exhausts us. Something we need a holiday to recover from. Debt and exhaustion replaced magic and togetherness. Credit cards maxed out. January budgets strained. Stress lasting months. Is there any hope? Can we rebuild what we've lost? Some are fighting back. No phones at dinner rules. Homemade decoration comebacks. Secret Santa limiting presents. Community carol services. Families volunteering together. But you can't force magic. Traditions need time, repetition, buy-in from everyone. Once lost, they're nearly impossible to rebuild. You can create new traditions, but you can't resurrect the old ones. The structures are gone. Churches closed, pubs shuttered, high streets dead, extended families scattered. You can't have midnight mass in a church that's now a Tesco Express. Some families will find their way to something meaningful. Small gatherings, homemade elements, phone-free time, genuine connection. But it won't be what we had. It'll be something new, missing the community-wide participation that made British Christmas special. The Britain of packed churches, communal pubs, one telly, extended families at one table. That Britain's gone. So what actually killed Britain's Christmas traditions? If this hit you right in the nostalgia, make sure you check out my video on what killed Britain's fish and chip shops. You can smell the vinegar through the screen. We did. We chose convenience over magic, isolation over community, more over better. Every tiny decision, ordering online, watching different things, skipping church, not visiting relatives because we're tired, added up to the death of everything that made British Christmas special.